Hey there, Brick fans, and welcome to this brand new series on Brickmad Sam, building Batuu Galaxy's Edge in Lego. Now, this one's been a long time coming. I have mentioned it a couple of times on the channel. It's taken a little bit longer than I expected to get the studio space set up and the brand new brick wall behind me. But the space is all set up and ready to go now. And I can't wait to show you guys through what I've been working on. I'd love to have you all along for the journey. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell as well so you don't miss any video content coming up. What I'm going to be taking you through is all of the planning and decision making that I've done to this point, some of the designs and process that I've come up with and the way that I'm going to be going about this series, and really give you guys a bit of a look into what the mock is ultimately going to be. So I guess the big question is, why pick Batuu or Galaxy's Edge in the first place? First one being my family and I actually went on a trip at the start of 2020 to Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, and it was just the most amazing experience. We went there, had a great time. We built the lightsabers, we built the droid, we just went around. We had the blue milk. It was just such an amazing experience, and the craftsmanship that had gone into actually building this theme park was just so amazing that as soon as I got there, I thought this would just make an amazing Lego mock. The second reason was, after I went on that trip, I did dive into some of the other literature and comics and the Thrawn trilogy, the new Thrawn trilogy that's come out that has Thrawn go to Batuu and with Anakin. And, you know, there was a lot more stories coming out that kind of involved Batuu. And also you'll see in the influences a bit later, once I started reading the Traveler's Guide and a few other things, there's a lot of stories that are woven into this world. And I thought that would be amazing if I can capture some of that and put it into the mock. I think it would be really great. I guess one of the other main reasons is that it's definitely something that's a bit different. I haven't seen lots of large Galaxy's Edge mocks around. I could have easily done another Hoth or Tatooine or an Endor, and all of those are great, and I'm sure I could have done a good job of that. I just wanted to do something that was pretty different and not a lot out there. So I think that by doing this, it might give me a little bit more creative edge and a bit more license to do some really cool techniques and to bring a lot to the mocks. Final reason was that I just wanted to do something epic. I haven't done a very large scale mock like this before. I've done a few sort of smaller builds for sure, but this one is a pretty sizable mock for me, and I wanted to challenge myself and do something epic. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge. And for sure, when we go through the layout, you'll see what a challenge it is going to be. For this build, I've created myself 3 key goals to aim for. Number 1, and in no particular order, I want to create a world and not a theme park. I am not going for theme park accuracy in this build. What I'm going for is to create a really appealing in-universe, in Star Wars universe feel for this Batuu build. Galaxy's Edge was amazing, do not get me wrong, it was a great experience, but there were a few things in there that were very much for the tourist and the fact that it is a theme park. Number 2, and probably the most important one, I really want to create an appealing Lego mock. I don't just want to tick all of the boxes and have everything that I've listed out down there and lay it all out in like one next to another. I really want this mock to feel integrated and well crafted, and use a lot of cool techniques. Number 3, I want to be able to tell stories within this mock. When I complete this, the idea is that I'm going to go back and start telling a lot of the stories that I've either read in the literature that I've seen, or some of the new stories that I want to tell, either through Lego photography or some stop motion work that I'm going to be adding in later. All of that is still to come, but I want to make sure that the mock is set up and ready and able for all of those things to happen. So that is another key goal of mine for this build. So as I said before, there are a bunch of influences that have impacted on my decision making and planning for this mock. Obviously, the park is the main one. it's the one that I went, okay, well, we need to have all of these things in here. You need to have Ogre's Cantina. You need to have the hangar where the Falcon is. You need to have the droid depot. You need to have Zavi's. You need to have the resistance base and the First Order and Ronto roasters. You need to have all those things for it to be Batuu. And I definitely want to put all those things in there. So that was a big influence in the fact that I'd been there. I did sort of take into account a lot of the things that I felt and wanted to see when I was there, and I wanted to put that into the mock. So that was the first main influence. Another big influence was the Traveler's Guide. Now, this bad boy, I got this a while ago after I'd been, and I found out so much more, and I wish I had it before I went to Galaxy's Edge, because there was a lot of sort of tertiary information and world building within this book that I plan on putting into the mock, at least nods to, and it really gives it a more of an in-world feel, and that definitely has helped me with some of my decision making. This final influence is certainly had probably the most impact, and it did arrive late. I have been waiting for it, and it's one of the reasons why this episode is coming out a little bit later than anticipated, because I had a feeling that when I got this, I was going to want to change some of my planning and thinking. And about a month ago, I was certain that I was complete with my planning. And if anyone follows me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I've already posted up stuff saying, the layout's complete, it's done. And then this came to my doorstep. And this is probably the most amazing concept art book, just if you're looking at pure art and world building. This, in terms of a Star Wars concept art book, is one of the best, and I have loads of them. Obviously, like, there's the original Ralph McQuarrie stuff, but this, I tell you what, they just went to town on some of this stuff, and I can't not put some of this in the mock. So I have deviated from some of the things in the park, which you will see later, and it's because of this book. I can't honestly recommend this one highly enough, and also the Traveler's Guide as well, if you like Batuu and want to know a bit more about it. But this one, just in general, from a Star Wars fan, an art fan, concept artist, Batuu fan, Galaxy's Edge fan, this is an awesome book. I had to buy it. I did not get this sent for free, but it is amazing. So definitely get behind it. And it's just incredible, some of the artwork in this, so check it out. So just quickly on the process that I've chosen to take for this build, before I show you through the layout, I will be working up multiple structures at once at first, and that's just to make sure that everything is going to interlock and that there's the right subfloors and all that type of thing. While all that's happening, I will be creating some smaller designs in Studio 2.0 on my computer. Now, that's just to get all the designs done and also to keep me a bit fresh. And I'm talking about some of the things that you would have seen if you've looked at my Instagram. You will have seen the drink service droids and DJ Rex from the Cantina. Those type of things are the things I'm going to be doing while I'm building up some of the terrain and things, just because terrain can get a little bit monotonous for me. And so I'm going to sort of do some interesting things at the same time as just sort of get all the foundations down, which maybe aren't so interesting, but are really super important for the build. Once all that's done and I start getting through some of those designs and the terrain gets sorted out, I am going to narrow in on certain sections. And that's mainly just so that when I do all of my Bricklink orders and things like that, I can kind of get one section completely finished. So then we can see how everything's coming together section at a time, which I'm really looking forward to. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the planning now. I'm going to show you the initial sketches and things that I did, and then I will also show you where I ended up after the Art of book came in. Now, as I said before, when I was talking about influences and that book, it really did change substantially. Some of the main deviations that I've made is in the resistance base, I am going to change some of the things just generally in the first order section. And the layout overall, I've created a much more elevated feel, because a lot of the concept art that you see in the art art book, there is a lot more larger structures and it's raised up, and because I've only got a limited amount of space, I felt that that was a perfect way for me to integrate everything that I wanted, but still have it feel like it was built up and it was all part of the world. So you'll see some of those things, and the best way to show you is to just check out some of these images now. When initially creating this plan for the Batuu build, I definitely stuck a lot closer to what is at Galaxy's Edge theme park, only making adjustments where I had to fit the real estate that was available to me. I began by placing what I believe is the most iconic part of Galaxy's Edge, the spaceport with Millennium Falcon. I then looked at the relative buildings around it and added in Ogre's Cantina, Docking Bay 7, Ronto Roasters from there, and then back to Dock Ondors in the middle. Docks also included the Black Spire, which of course the name of Black Spire Outpost comes from that spire. In order to be able to view more internal space, I've decided to move the Droid Depot and Savvy's Workshop over to one side of the build. Doing this allows me to use the outer edge of the build to leave open and show everything that's internal. Then actually layer the marketplace on top of both of them. The entrance to the Droid Depot will be down below, and a spiral staircase will swing around Dock Ondars up to the entrance and to Ronto Roasters. The entrance to Zavvy's Workshop will actually be carved into the Black Spire rock face that's underneath Dock Ondars. Through there, you'll go through a hidden passage, and then this will reveal Zavvy's Workshop table. This will be the internal set where you'll see characters creating lightsabers. Next to the bottom of the stairs, and on the back side of the Droid Depot repair bay, sits the milk stand. Then finally, we move into the Resistance base and ancient ruins. In many of the pieces of concept art that I looked at and I really liked, they often put a very large rock entrance into Black Spire. That's something I definitely want to get into this mock and incorporate that into the ancient ruins. The Resistance X-Wing and A-Wing will sit on the bottom level of the Resistance base, alongside a command center, which will be open to the outer edge of the build. On the level above, the room from Rise of the Resistance where you see Rey and BB-8 will also be an internal that's viewable from the outer edge, before jumping out onto the ITS Resistance transport. Next to that, as in the Rise of the Resistance ride, will be Poe Dameron's Black X-Wing. To capture the same visual element that is at the park, there will be a cave that comes up over the top of these two ships. As you make your way through the underpass, the First Order docking bay and the main gate will hold a very similar relationship to they do in the park. The design of the First Order building will once again follow closer to the concept art. This is mainly due to the fact that the concept art often included an elevated landing platform for the TIE echelon to sit on. This will give me a little bit more room and make the building look a lot more impressive. The main gate will be pretty much as per it is in the park, and then nestled in between that and Ogre's Cantina on the lower level will be Black Spire Station. Additionally, there will be a few mystery areas added to this build. However, this pretty much wraps up the planning. Well, Brick fans, that brings us to the end of today's planning episode. I hope you've enjoyed everything that I've shown you today and are looking forward as much as I am to this big epic build. I'd love to have all of you along for the adventure, as I said before. So please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook so you don't miss any content coming up. On next episode, we are going to be looking at the brick layout, a little sneak peek behind me. And that one is going to be super exciting because we're actually going to be putting down some stuff and you're going to start to see what the elevations are going to look like. I'm really looking forward to that one. So please stay tuned. And until next time, may the bricks be with you.